Hello, welcome to Empowerment Church of Davidson, where our mission is to empower, equip, and evangelize. Tune in to our Sunday service at noon by calling 704-703-1636. Mail all correspondence to P.O. Box 115, Davidson, North Carolina, 28036. And now, get ready to receive today's message.
5 ways to block your blessings.
All right.
5 ways to block your blessings. Starting with Genesis 50 in verse 15 is where I want to open up on today. It says this: when Joseph's brothers saw that his father was dead, they said, perhaps Joseph would hate us and may actually repay us for all the evil we did to him. So they sent messages to Joseph saying, before your father died, he commanded, saying, thus you shall say to Joseph, I beg you, please forgive perhaps their trespasses of your brothers for their sins, for they did evil unto you. Now please forgive their trespasses of their servants of the God of your fathers. And Joseph wept when they spoke to him. Verse 18. Then his brothers also went and fell down before his face, and they said, behold, we are your servants. And Joseph said unto them, do not be afraid, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, in order to bring about, as it is this day, to save many people alive. Now therefore, do not be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. 5 ways to block your blessing. The first way is unforgiveness. Now notice, if we go back to our text, because our text is going to walk us through this. When we look at our text today, we see that this unforgiveness that the brothers had, it had them in a situation. They were in a fix. They said, when they saw that the father was dead, they said Joseph is going to hate us, and he actually might repay us for what we did unto him. The first step in this unforgiveness, the first way to block your blessings, is forgiveness. When you extend it to someone else, that forgiveness also comes back to you. When you walk in unforgiveness, you can't release yourself either. Watch this. The guilt of what you have done will try to cause you to think for other people. This unforgiveness is our first step. When you start thinking for other people, you will always assume the worst because you're still stuck in your sin. Watch this. He said he will repay us for the evil. And see, the thing about this is it will cause you to walk around in anxiety because of what you have not released. The anxiety and the fear that you have in your relationship could become from the fact that you haven't released other people. Matthew tells us as we forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. This thing goes 2 ways. Don't forgive that forgiveness is a 2-way street. When you walk in unforgiveness towards someone else, it changes your view of things. And it will cause you to always think the worst of other people. Well, why is that? Because you haven't released the worst that something has happened to you. You're holding on to that worst and you're saying, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. But it causes you to think for other people, even when they're not even thinking that way.
Amen.
That's our first step. The one way to block your blessing is walking in unforgiveness that causes you not to release someone else. Now, when you think about that, I got a number 2, another way to block your blessings. And watch, number 2 is also unforgiveness. Let's look at our text. So they sent messages to Joseph saying, behold, before your father died, he commanded us saying that you should forgive your brothers. Now, walking in unforgiveness damages your credit. What do you mean, Pastor? Watch this. They had to call in the word of the Father because they felt like their word wasn't good enough. Your credit will always be damaged when you walk in unforgiveness because you will have a distorted view of others because of the hatred that's built up in you. Your distorted view, it messes up your credit. You ever heard somebody talking to you and they keep saying, I ain't lying? Well, you keep telling me, were you lying to me yesterday? Why do you have to keep telling me you ain't lying? See, because your credit is bad because of unforgiveness. The unforgiveness that all of the mess that you're walking in and you haven't released causes your credit to be messed up.
Yeah.
That's what was wrong with these brothers and said, well, we got to call our father back from the dead. Maybe his credit will help smooth this thing over. You will always call on others when you feel your credit is bad because you're damaged by unforgiveness. Being damaged by unforgiveness will mess up your credibility. And you'll walk in that guilt and you won't forgive you won't feel that you can give forgiveness because you're not forgiving people yourself. Number 2, unforgiveness. Number 3, guess what number 3 is too? Unforgiveness. We got 5 steps. Now, the third step in unforgiveness is this. Let's go back. He says, okay, he said to you, forgive your brothers and all of this. And they went and they called on the name of the Father. And Joseph wept when he spoke to them. Joseph was like heartbroken. And his brothers went and fell down before his face and said, behold, we of your servants. Watch. But skip back a little bit. He said he needed to be forgiven for what they had done. They needed to be forgiven for the evil that they had done. Now, unforgiveness, step 3, will cause you to wear the label of evil when God has called you clean. Once you have accepted Christ, God changes you. He gives you a new heart. But watch, if you haven't forgiven, that's why it says it in the prayer, the model prayer that Jesus gave us. Forgive others as God has forgiven you. The transaction works both ways because if you haven't forgiven others, you haven't fully stepped into your salvation.
That's right. Amen.
Why? Because you don't know how to receive because you don't know how to give it. This unforgiveness has you wearing the label of evil. These brothers were still walking around with the guilt of the evil that they had done. If you walk around with that condemnation, Revelation tells us that the devil is the accuser of the brethren.
Yes.
He will never let you live anything down.
Amen.
And if you never lives anything down, watch this. This third step in unforgiveness will also block your blessing. It will block your blessing because you feel like you're a sinner and not a saint. You feel like you're unworthy. That keeps many people out of church. You're wearing the evil from 1977, and it keeps you from going into churches today. And until you forgive and let that thing go, the devil will always call up what you've done and what you were in the past. But whom the Son is set free is free indeed. When you receive this third step, I'm talking about 5 steps to block your blessing, this third step will keep you from wearing the label of evil. Because when you wear the label of evil, you will never feel like you're good enough to do anything. You'll feel like, I'm not good enough to usher. I'm not good enough to come to church. And why? It's the brothers that came right out their mouth. Maybe he'll forgive us of the evil that we had done. They were still thinking about what they did.
Yes, they were.
Instead of walking in forgiveness, when you walk in forgiveness, you can forgive yourself and you can walk cleansed from that, and you will no longer wear the label of evil. You will wear the label of the redeemed. I've been born again. I've been redeemed. I've been renewed.
Yes. Amen.
4th step. Guess what that 4th step is? It's unforgiveness again. I'll tell y'all got it now.
You got it.
Unforgiveness in step number 4, it does something else. Watch. He says, when the brothers fell down before his face in verse 18, and they said, behold, we are your servants. Step 4 in unforgiveness is not being too proud to start over.
Oh, okay. Amen.
Now,
good.
When you're walking in unforgiveness, it will have you walking in pride. And even when everyone else has forgot about the situation, you won't back up your position because you're too proud. You must be able to forgive and forgive yourself and be humble enough to start over. Amen. These brothers knew they had messed up. They said, we need to fall down and just present ourselves as servants so we can get a new start. It's never too late to start over.
Never too
late.
But
pride and unforgiveness will keep you from starting over. Because they'll be like, well, what about Elder Colby? When I was bragging to Elder Colby, I told him all of this stuff I was going to do. I told him all that I was going to be. And now my pride has got me stuck on the outside instead of coming in.
Instead of coming in.
Your pride, be willing to start over with God. God can make make all things new.
Yes,
But
yes,
your pride and unforgiveness and not forgetting the situation. He done moved on, she done moved on, everything is all over, but you too proud to start over.
Yes.
And you stuck in your own. These brothers said, look, if we got to start over, we going to fall down and we going to be your servants. And however we got to start over, we going to start over. You must be the one to make steps to mend fences. Take the pride off the shelf, be the bigger person, and say, we got to work together.
Yes, yes, yes.
Unforgiveness will keep you from doing it. Unforgiveness will have you stuck in those old positions and saying, well, I'm better than him. I'm supposed to be his boss or whatever. Heck, if you've been fired, you need to start over and then we need to come back and say, look, brother, I need some help. We need to stop. But see, your pride and your unforgiveness for what you said when he was working under you will keep you stuck in a position. Step 4, unforgiveness will have you too proud to start over. Last step of all, unforgiveness, number 5, once again, it will keep you to seeing the vision. It'll keep you from seeing the vision and walking in God's purpose for your life. Unforgiveness, watch this. Joseph walked in this unforgiveness. And he said, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good.
Yes.
If he would have still been in bitterness, he wouldn't have saw what God was doing. We go through ups and downs. We go through problem, solution, problem. We go through all of these things that we go through. But watch this. If you're walking in unforgiveness, you can't see the vision of what God is doing. You can't see the big picture. When you walk and you hold on to that grudge and you hold on to that unforgiveness, it will block your vision, it will block your purpose, and it will block your blessings. Because you'll never get anywhere because you can't see what God has for you. And it's right in your face. When you walk in unforgiveness, it blocks your own vision.
Yes, yes.
Learn how to let things go. When he let his brothers go and release them, he had clear vision and he was able to keep going forward.
Yes.
But unforgiveness keeps you holding and stuck in the past, and you can't go forward because you're still trying to live out an old situation. Let go of that old situation. Walk in forgiveness, and God will give you vision, and he'll give you purpose, and he'll see that all things work together for good of those who love the Lord and those that are called according to his purpose. 5 steps that will block your blessings. And they all start with unforgiveness. Yes. I can go on with some more, but I figured I'll leave it 5 because my time is up. So God bless you until next time. Remember to walk in that forgiveness and have a blessed day. Give God all the glory, honor, and the praise.
Amen. Amen.
We hope you enjoyed today's message from the Empowerment Church of Davidson. Help us continue to empower, equip, and evangelize by liking this video, clicking subscribe, and sharing with someone else. Until next time, God bless you.